disconnected.
Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to install some hooks on the tractor. One of the most important things, it's the handiest thing actually, that you can put on any tractor is some hooks. So if you want to carry something you can chain things on. I've had this thing for 150 hours and using it without any hooks, and it's just a pain. I actually got some weld-on hooks and I just couldn't make myself put them on. I just thought there's got to be a cleaner way. Well, Ken at Bolt-On Hooks has a real nice set of the hooks. You can actually add these brackets to the back and put clevises on there, and this is going to make it real nice with not having to weld on my bucket. Just drill the holes and bolt them on. It's a kit that he sells for all tractors, not just the BX. My tractor is actually a 2018 BX23S. You can actually get this kit for any tractor, any of the BXs, and you want to make sure that you specify which tractor you have. If you have a Kubota BX, to make sure, because of the bucket and the spacing, you want to make sure that you've got the right ones. These are the ones made for the 23S, and they're spaced to reach above this lip right here, so you don't work as to turn around. So you want to make sure that you do get the right hooks for your bucket, but they're actually not hard to install at all. Pretty much all you're going to need is for the bolts that's supplied with it. You're going to need a 3/4 inch socket, a 3/4 inch wrench. You'll want some drill bits, like a 1/2 inch bit to drill the hole. You may want a 3/8 bit and a 1/4 inch bit you can use for the pilot hole to line it up, and then also you can use a unibit that will drill a 1/2 inch hole. So I have a unibit if I want to use that, but I'm going to tilt this bucket so these will sit here when I do the install, because right now they're not going to sit here. So if I tilt the bucket, make them where they sit there up against this while I mark the holes. And what we got here is a little spacer that goes in here, made for a 3/8 bit, and that will make it where you can line your holes up and drill in just a spot to where you want your holes. So that ought to come in pretty handy, because otherwise it'd be hard to mark these without that little thing right there. So we'll go ahead and mark these out and go ahead and drill the holes and get these things mounted. All right, now my next step is I got this set on here where I want it, and I'll take this plastic bushing that they sent with it, set it in this hole. I got a clamp on here. It's important to have a clamp to clamp this forward to hold it up against this front rail, and then one to clamp it down to hold it in place so you're square up against it. It's important to have this tied up against this when you mark your holes and when you bolt it down. So I got it clamped down and forward, and then after I do this one, I'll just move my clamp over to here, my spacer over here. So this should get us fairly close if we go down through this and just try to keep it straight to mark our holes. When we drill this, all we want to do is just kind of mark the metal. We don't have to go drilling deep, just enough that we mark it so we know where to drill at with our 1/4 inch drill bit. Just like so. Now I'll move the clamp over here and do the other one. My spacer in here. Just enough to mark the paint. Now I can take it off, drill with the 1/4 inch drill bit. Okay, now I got it marked out. Should be able to take this and make some 1/4 inch pilot holes. Now we can take these holes and mark them, drill them out to 1/2 inch. I'm gonna make sure one more time that I'm good, and that does look good. So we'll go ahead and drill them out to 1/2 inch. Go ahead and try the stepper bit and see how it works. each step I want to make sure that I don't go past 1/2 inch. So I'll check it every little bit, make sure. Perfect. This is actually a kind of a stepper bit, but I want to use it to just deburr the holes a little bit. You can use a bigger drill bit, unless you have a deburring tool, to deburr both sides of the holes. Get rid of the sharp edges off of it. So now we should be able to take our bolts. We use a washer on each side. Okay, now this part here, this mount for the clevis, will go on the bottom, and normally your bolts will go down through like this with a nut on them, and you have to cut these off, otherwise your bolt for your clevis here will hit these bolts. So I went ahead and actually cut these off, and what I did was, from the bottom side, it's hard to get to it to cut it off, so I stuck them up through the bottom, put my nut on there, my washers, cut them off, and now I'm going to turn them over and put them on there. Now these are all grade 8 bolts, which is hard bolts, so you need to have a good hacksaw blade or a good sawzall blade for hard steel. The nut and bolt both is grade 8. This way I've already got them cut off, and I'll put them on here, and it's going to be a lot easier that way. Now I take my 3/4 inch wrench, 3/4 inch socket, and go ahead and tighten these down. But before I do, I want to make sure that I clamp this forward. And I want to make sure that this is forward all the way up against this rail solid when I tighten them. So I'm going to clamp it before I tighten them up. That way it will be all the way up flush against it. Okay, now I can go ahead and stick my clevis on here. Then I'll just go ahead and tighten this down. Now I won't do the other side in the video because it's actually just identical to doing this one. You're just going to repeat it on the other side. So that's pretty much it for the install. I got to move solid forward, bolt it down tight, got the bolts cut off. Everything looks good. You can take these and spray paint them with some Kubota orange if you want, or black or whatever. You might want to take them off and paint them and then put them back on, but you can paint them or whatever you want to do on that part. All right, guys, that's it for the install of the bolt-on hooks from Ken at boltonhooks.com. You can go check him out. I'll post a link to him below. And I think this is the best solution, the best fit for a tractor instead of having to weld them on, and especially if a person don't have a welder. I do actually have a welder, and I bought the hooks, but I opted to not use the weld-on hooks. I decided to use this, so I think it'd be a better setup, especially with the clevis at the end of it here and all bolted together solid. So I think it's a real nice, clean-looking setup. So thank you for everything. Thank you, Ken, for sending these over, and I really appreciate it. Click the thumbs up on this video, subscribe. And go check out Ken's site. He don't just have bolt-on hooks. He has all kinds of stuff for tractors. There's a whole big list of things. Also, when I post the link, you can check it out and see all the stuff that he has on his site. So it's not just bolt-on hooks that he has, and for all kinds of tractors. So subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch y'all on the next one. Right on.